4 new build estates from 4 corners of England: Somerset, Greater Manchester, County Durham, Kent. Try telling them apart. Same cul-de-sac loops, same roofline profiles, same render panels, same garage positions down to the meter. You can't place them because they weren't designed for a place. A handful of volume builders are shaping what most of England's new housing looks like, and they're all working from the same playbook. Inside the design offices of Britain's largest house builders, Barratt, Persimmon, Taylor Wimpey, Bellway, and Redrow, architects are not drafting bespoke homes for every new postcode. Instead, they are opening the pattern book. This pattern book is an internal library of pre-approved house types. Every model in the catalogue has a fixed internal layout, a fixed external elevation, and a predetermined specification for bricks, roof tiles, and window positions. Most importantly, each has a rigid, pre-calculated cost profile. When a developer buys a parcel of land, they do not study local historic stonework or regional building traditions. They simply choose repeatable house types that will squeeze the maximum number of units onto the site. If you drive through a 2019 development in Swindon, then travel nearly 200 miles north to a 2021 estate in Stockport, you will experience an uncanny sense of déjà vu. In both places, you are looking at the exact same 3-bedroom semi-detached house type, a 92 square metre footprint, straight from Persimmon's standard catalogue. The structural frame, window grids, and roof lines are identical. The only actual distinction is cosmetic. In Swindon, the ground floor features white render over brick veneer. In Stockport, the exact same ground floor is finished in dark grey. This is industrial scale copy and paste, requiring only a minor shift in paint colour to travel across years and county lines, completely detached from any sense of place. You might assume your local council is powerless to stop this, but planning authorities actually possess the statutory backing to demand better. Under Policy DP1 of the National Planning Policy Framework, they are expected to enforce high-quality design that suits the local area. In practice, though, most local plans stop at broad box-ticking exercises, handling road widths, bin storage, and minimum distances between windows, while completely ignoring actual architecture. Without specific rules governing material palettes, roof pitches, or facade proportions, developers have free rein. Between 2019 and 2021, the government's Building Better, Building Beautiful Commission attempted to change this with its Living with Beauty report, putting forward 45 recommendations to enforce local design codes. Yet, years later, the implementation remains painfully slow and uneven. Most councils simply do not have the specialist design officers needed to write or enforce these rules. Faced with underfunded departments and aggressive national housing targets, planning committees routinely wave through identical developments. When an application lands on a desk featuring pre-approved house types with a proven track record, it is much easier to grant consent than to fight a costly design battle. To understand why developers stick so stubbornly to these pre-packaged blueprints, you have to look at the cold economics of volume house building. These companies are not local builders crafting one-off homes. The top 10 house builders in Britain now deliver around half of all new builds, operating like factory assembly lines scattered across the country. When you build at this scale, unpredictability is the enemy. Reusing a single house type across 50 different developments means the construction teams know exactly what to do before they even arrive. Bricklayers, carpenters, and plumbers repeat the same sequence on every plot, cutting down build times and reducing on-site mistakes. It also transforms how developers buy materials. By ordering 40,000 identical window frames, 10 million of the exact same roof tiles, and endless runs of identical plastic guttering, builders negotiate massive volume discounts with national suppliers. Every time a developer drafts a bespoke house, they introduce financial risk. A fresh design means starting from scratch with estimating, negotiating new material rates, and retraining managers on quality control. A proven pattern book house has already had its defects ironed out over hundreds of previous builds, meaning fewer warranty claims and less post-completion risk. All of this becomes necessary when you look at the price of land. With land costs taking up an increasingly large portion of a developer's budget, the margins on the actual bricks and mortar are squeezed. To protect their profits, builders must find savings elsewhere. Replicating the same house is the easiest way to do it. If you walk through an interwar suburb built in the 1930s, you see a completely different approach to mass housing. Back then, builders were also throwing up semi-detached homes at a massive pace, yet they did not look like they were stamped out by the same machine. You will find a striking variety of details, differing bay windows, ornate timber frame porches, and contrasting decorative tile patterns along a single street. This visual diversity was not an accident of design, it was a physical map of British geology. Brickmaking and clay tile production were regional industries. Because heavy materials could not easily be transported hundreds of miles, builders bought from local kilns. A suburb in Cheshire took on the rich red hue of local clay, while one in Yorkshire reflected its own regional geological signatures. That localised system fell apart after the Second World War. As the motorway network expanded and national manufacturers began buying up small independent brickworks, material supply chains consolidated. By the 1980s, these regional clay pits were mostly gone, replaced by a highly standardised national supply network. A house became visually portable because the materials to build it were exactly the same, whether they were delivered to Cornwall or County Durham. Living behind a front door that looks identical to 30 others on your street has a quiet, measurable cost. A 2023 study on housing design revealed that high visual uniformity directly correlates with lower neighbourhood attachment and weaker place identity. When your surroundings lack any defining character, feeling rooted becomes difficult. This persistent sameness chips away at pride of place and undermines social cohesion, directly affecting how long you choose to stay and how much you value your community. There is a financial penalty too. Home buyers consistently pay a premium for distinctive local character, meaning these interchangeable streets can face long-term resale challenges. The issue goes far beyond architectural taste. It is about the lived experience of placelessness and how stripping a neighbourhood of its identity slowly unravels the invisible social fabric of the community. In 2020, the government's Building Better, Building Beautiful Commission called this visual monotony a central failure of modern house building. Their report recommended mandatory design codes and stricter rules to protect local character, but implementation has been voluntary and partial. Years later, there is no measurable visual shift in the estates being approved today. The system recognises the problem, but it hasn't changed the view out your window. When a development is proposed in your area, you can use the planning portal to demand accountability. Ask, where is the developer's published pattern book? What local evidence justifies these house types? Can more varied materials or roof lines be conditioned into the approval? Until communities ask these questions, the paper promises of beauty remain completely invisible. As we rush to build our way out of a housing crisis, we are mass-producing placelessness. Your next home might fit a corporate balance sheet, but it won't belong to your landscape. A house designed to exist anywhere ultimately belongs nowhere. What do you think? Share your thoughts below.